So, I'm gonna do something that I don't normally do on this channel. I'm gonna talk about a movie. And at first I wanted to put this up on my side channel, but then I figured it would be more interesting rather than having a monologue about it to actually talk with people about it and have a conversation and see what you folks think. So, yeah, recently had a chance to watch Justice League, and I have some opinions about it, some strong opinions, I guess. And we'll see what you folks think, and we're gonna have a bit of a conversation about it. Yeah, so the general thing is DC versus Marvel. Marvel movies are way, way better, and animated DC stuff is where it's at. You know, the DC movies generally are not very impressive. So, yeah, I thought it was horrendous, quite frankly. I mean, I didn't have super high hopes because I already knew that some people were complaining about it, but I was like, okay, let's give it a try. You know, Jason Momoa's Aquaman is pretty cool. That seems legit and all. And, you know, okay. But it was really bad. There was the one good scene. Now, I don't really want to spoiler too much, but the one scene in which Superman and Flash have an encounter, that was pretty cool. I think it portrayed Superman a little too OP, but yeah, you know, he's well known to be OP anyway. But that was pretty cool, and there were some neat moments, you know, very managed to be the good kind of comedic relief a number of times. There were definitely, like, he was being maybe a bit too much on the adorkable side, I guess. So that was a bit much at times. But it could be entertaining, yeah. But, oh, there were so many bad things. So for one, the story overall is bad guy appears, has to, you know, collect 3 things to start the apocalypse because why? He likes it? Because he likes the apocalyptic decor? He has, like, Steppenwolf is just terrible. He has no proper motivation. He's not an interesting character. It's just, he might as well be a natural disaster. He's completely, like, devoid of anything interesting, of any personality. He's just, oh yeah, I'm evil. I'm gonna fuck over the world because I'm evil and because it's cool. Or whatever. It was so bad. Plus, the way he looked. I mean, I can rant pretty much for an entire video just about the terrible CGI. By the way, super chat here. DC is trying for the everyone is from Gotham thing. Yeah, it doesn't really work. So my problem is he looks so ridiculous. His face. I mean, what the hell? What were they thinking? It's such terrible CGI. Especially if you look at that, you know, in comparison. Like, the comic version is dramatically better in every way. He's just this weird mutated, over CGI'd fake thing with, like, absolutely non-convincing facial expressions and just dumb looking. Like, really dumb. I mean, what the hell? I really don't know what they were thinking there. And same with Cyborg. Cyborg looked just not convincing whatsoever. The CGI on him, they should have used practical effects for that and just add in CGI. But it looks so damn fake. It's just, they might as well have had the actor, like, as a floating face and just surrounded in a bunch of nonsense. It does not look right at all. Now, I think the actor did a good job with Cyborg. overall. Like Cyborg was a pretty good character, but the terrible CGI was so distracting. Like, wow, what the hell? Why? And all the glowing stuff. Why did he have to be like 80% red light? It was just too much going on. So ridiculous. Pretty, I mean, it was definitely a waste of time. But let's see what you guys have to think. Have to say. Yeah, Martian Manhunter would have definitely been nice to have, but then again, no, not in that movie. They would have, the CGI would have also been painful to see, and no thanks. Rather not. Let's see. Steppenwolf's axe. Well, what is this? Yahoo? No, get lost. Shows that I don't normally use that browser. That's just terrible. I mean, the axe is, you know, it's of course oversized because, I mean, he's a super villain, so he has the super everything, you know, super strength and toughness and blah, whatever. He's probably heavy as hell too. So, I think the axe is really ugly. Personally, it just looks, I mean, this is actually better, you know, just standard steel axe. It's pretty thick, but it actually makes sense because, as I said, superpower, so it has to withstand that. The only problem is the shaft will probably break, because that does not look strong enough to withstand that kind of superpower blow. But yeah, that thing, it's hideous. That's really all I can say. If you like, the overall shape isn't necessarily too terrible, but just with the weird structure going on, it looks, I mean, just like his armor, it looks semi-organic, and it's ugly. That's really all I can say. It's not a nice looking axe whatsoever. Let's see. Tristan says, I just rushed the whole character building process. Shouldn't have been trying to keep up with Marvel. Yeah, pretty much. So, the other obvious thing here, I mean, there are a lot of obvious things, but the other thing to talk about here, of course, is Batman. Whenever I first heard that Ben Affleck is going to play Batman, I was like, why? I mean, he wasn't too bad in the previous one. You know, Superman versus Batman. What was the title even? I forgot, actually. Let me see here. Well, okay, okay, it was Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. He was okay in that one. Like, I didn't mind him too much. What I really liked in that one was how brutal Batman's fighting was. You know, at the end when he takes down all the goons, like, holy shit. He's not pulling any punches, and they did a really good job there with just letting him just let loose a little bit. You could really tell, like, his rage was just coming through every movement, like the brutal, the viciousness of his fighting there was, you know, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you think about it, Batman would be, you know, he has a lot of anger inside. He tries to control it, but, you know, letting it slip out a little bit, that would lead to that kind of brutality. That made a lot of sense. But my problem with it in this one is he does not seem like the confident, calculated Batman that you have in the animated DC movies. I mean, Kevin Conroy is where it's at. That's Batman, period. Kevin Conroy is the best Batman. You know, just a voice actor, but he's the best Batman. That is 100% Batman. That's how he's supposed to be. You know, where every sentence he says is calculated and just, you know, confident badass and just right. Just seems right. And this one, he had some awkward moments, you know, where he's like, doesn't have a good comeback, or doesn't have, you know, anything good to say. And he talks anyway, even if he doesn't have anything good to say, which is not Batman. either he's quiet, either it's the bat glare, or he says something, as I said, calculated, intelligent, productive. In this one, he's just kind of along for the ride. Cyborg is much more important, and I would even say Cyborg kind of takes the role that Batman normally has. You know, animated Batman. He's the planner normally. He's the one who solves problems, who figures things out. In this case, it was all Cyborg doing everything. He was all doing the planning and mental heavy lifting, if you will. And Batman was just kind of, you know, was just there. And he didn't do much, and he was not interesting whatsoever. And another thing that I've, like, kind of a pet peeve is I don't like the weird voice distortion that they did. Like, there's something going on with his voice. I'm pretty sure they edited. So there was some kind of post-processing, and it sounds just bizarre. It does not sound right. I also have a problem with Christian Bale's voice, because, you know, throat cancer, Batman. It's just, no. This is not what Batman sounds like. Kevin Conroy is what Batman sounds like. Stern, confident voice, you know, a little dark, but not, you know, very deep and all, but not this forced, I'm a bit scary. Just, no, he doesn't do that. That's the proper Batman voice. And I mean, Michael Keaton was also pretty okay. He also didn't go over the top. He was also just, you know, not anywhere near as good as Kevin Conroy, but, you know, pretty decent. I can live with that. But Affleck, you got to give him props for getting into fantastic shape for the role, absolutely. But he doesn't really. It's not really Batman. It's something else. It's some other character. I don't know. Aquaman just looked more like a pirate. Kind of. I mean, it was interesting to see the different approach, but they overdid it a little bit, in my opinion. Like, it seemed like they were really thinking, okay, so Aquaman has this reputation of being kind of useless or whatever. So let's just crank it up. Let's make him like badass and kind of macho and everything. And it was a bit over the top. They went too far with that. It was kind of neat in some ways. I mean, I could appreciate the rough, gritty, and I don't give a shit kind of approach. But I said they took it a bit too far. It was, but involuntarily comical at times, you know, but otherwise, you know, Aquaman, pretty decent. And the movie Wonder Woman, yeah, not bad, but overall story and the way the characters interact, you just don't really care. It doesn't matter, you know. Steps motivations are weak, but so are Darkseid. Well, yeah, fair enough. Darkseid is just, I want to rule everything, and Steppenwolf is just, I want to fuck up the world. I want to make it apocalyptic, just because. Yeah, it's not terribly interesting. I mean, Marvel does a much better job with that in the movies, where you actually care about the characters, and there's interpersonal conflict, and even the, you know, the villains or the people on the bad side, they have proper motivations. They have reasons for what they do, other than I am evil and you will bow to me. So, not great. The orange shirt? No, I don't need the orange shirt for Aquaman. I'm fine without. So basically, I actually think probably the best thing about Justice League is, minor spoiler, very minor, when Superman fights the rest of them. That was pretty interesting, but otherwise, it just didn't have much going for it. And it looks like Rotten Tomatoes agrees. 40%, yay. Although the audience liked it for some reason. What? Who likes this? I don't want to be. I don't want to be that asshole who's like, if you disagree with my opinion, you're invalid and screw you. That's not it. But the best thing about Justice League is it makes Marvel look better. Kind of. Yeah. Kind of. I see Justice League, Gods and Monsters. I think I've seen all the animated ones. Let me just... I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Let me just refresh my memory here. Yes, I've seen it. Yep. Oh, another thing. This is sidetracking a little bit. I mean, it's still Justice League related. No, not really. It's DC still. Gotham by Gaslight. I would highly recommend checking that out. So it's essentially, it's steampunk Batman. So it's like a alternate Victorian era kind of thing. And this was extremely well done. I was very impressed by that. As I said, it's a usual thing, you know, animated DC is far better. So this was pretty damn awesome. For one, the setting is really cool, and also there was a very interesting, very unexpected plot twist, which I'm not going to give away, of course. And the way Batman is portrayed here in this one is really neat. It's, you know, sometimes in DC you have a bit of this thing where even the like regular human characters, you know, even Batman seems to have a bit of a superhuman thing going on with everything he can do and everything he knows, etc., etc. But then at the same time, the villains still somehow have a chance against him. You know, what bothers me, for example, usually is when Two-Face or the Joker fights Batman hand to hand, and they somehow have a chance. How? You know, Batman is supposed to be the you know, peak human performance, and he knows all these martial arts, and he's super smart, and it's extremely strong, and blah blah blah, whatever. But somehow this you know, this random dude who just put up some makeup. I mean, okay, sure, the Joker's not a random dude, but how does he have a chance at all? Whereas in Gotham by Gaslight, you actually buy that. Batman doesn't seem as completely over the top, overpowered. He seems more like, well, he's a dude with, you know, the wealth and the dedication to put in all the training and everything, but he's not completely over the top. So he seems more believable, and the, you know, the people he fights also seem more believable. Or particularly the one that he fights at the end, which, as I said, I'm not going to give away. So that's, yeah, really well done. So I would definitely suggest checking that out. All right, so back to Justice League. If you want to talk a little more about that. Let's see. I always feel like if the Joker took his shirt off, he'd be fucking ripped. I don't know. He just looks skinny most of the time. And it kind of makes more sense, like a bit more on the grotesque side. If he's just got this rippling muscle superhero physique that doesn't really suit the Joker at all. He's more the devious, you know, the kind of guy who, if he wins, he does it with cheating and trickery and all of that. He should not have a chance in the least in a fight against Batman. That's always a weird thing. You know, someone like Bane, that's a different story. Yeah, sure, fine. Yeah, the Joker is smart, of course. He has the kind of, you know, crazy genius thing about him, or, you know, the kind of devious intelligence of insanity, or however you want to put that. Yeah, I know. He usually, or quite often, he does appear to be good in combat and strong and physically tough and everything, but I don't think he should be. Like, he doesn't look like it, and there's never really, at least as far as I know, there's never really an explanation for why he should be. With Batman, I mean, the guy is driven. He's absolutely obsessed. So he spends, you know, so much time on training and preparation, and he's got the gadgets too. And I mean, the Joker has some gadgets, but not as much. Like, he's just a very, very toned down, crazy version of Batman, but very toned down, you know. At least that's how he comes across to me. So yeah, it's because he's human and they're human. I mean, kinda. I would say Batman is borderline superhero, because with everything that he knows and can do, and it would be essentially impossible to do that in real life, because he with his physique and his strength and everything, he would have to spend so much time on training, and then he goes out and fights crime, and then he takes care of you know, business, and he does all the intelligence gathering and learning and everything. He doesn't even have enough time, enough hours in the day to get sleep in. He would be constantly overtrained, and it would be just, it's crazy. So he would have to be kind of above regular human, even though he's supposed to be peak human. Yeah. He's a billionaire. Yeah, his superpower is he's rich. And I do like that moment in in Justice League, where Barry is like, "So what's your power?" "I'm rich." Yeah, that's kind of it. He's rich and disturbed. That's his power. You know, aside from having photographic memory and having a super high IQ and, you know, prime genetics and all the other things that he has that make him as badass as he is. Yeah, exactly. As someone who does BJJ, Joker being able to have any chance against Batman makes no sense. Batman, as a top martial artist in the world, would obliterate a normal untrained person, even if they're not untrained. You know, even if they are, you know, pretty good, pretty fit, and have some training. You know, you can grant Joker, okay, he's not a slouch, fine. He's not a couch potato. But even then, we're talking the difference between, like, the supreme athlete of the world, pretty much, against someone who is, you know, reasonably fit. That shouldn't be a contest. Not at all. Well, unpredictable. This is something that people often say, you know, oh, if you're being unpredictable in a fight, then you have an advantage. Not really. Like, just something is not going to work just because it's unexpected. If your opponent starts rolling around on the floor, Dark Souls style, sure, it's unexpected, but you're still going to stomp him in the head. It doesn't matter how unexpected it is or how unpredictable. If you fight efficiently and you use effective techniques and they use some random bullshit, then they're still going to lose no matter how unpredicted it is, you know? Have you read the DC Metal comics? No, I have not. Batman is super rich. He does not have to work. Well, okay. I mean, he has other people to take care of his business, but even so, I mean, with all the research he does, all the training he does, and going out to fight crime and supervillains and everything, there still shouldn't be enough hours in the day to get all of that done. Plus, you know, he needs to rest. You never really see him rest. I mean, you only see him rest if he's literally wounded and bandaged. But even then, he's still doing something. So he should just basically tear himself down with overtraining and not enough rest all the time. He surely has worked somewhere to get that rich. Well, he has inherited all the wealth, hasn't he? From his parents. His dead parents. Do you think batarangs are practical? Well, they're just throwing blades. You know, it might as well be a throwing knife. Of course they're practical. Are they practical for somebody who's trying not to kill people? Arguably not. But yeah, it's essentially, I mean, it's maybe you should compare it more to a shuriken, essentially. All the star shape. There are different types of shuriken. It's got multiple spikes and it's sharpened, so it has a pretty high chance of sticking in a variety of positions. So yeah, absolutely, it's an effective throwing weapon. But it's not exactly a non-lethal option, is it? Dead in a year with all his injuries, if human. Yeah, that too. I mean, he constantly gets heavily injured, and he always comes back 100%. I mean, that's you know, that's again the borderline superhuman, or a kind of superhuman. He would have to have a bit of a healing factor with everything he's done. You know, broken bones, if tended to properly, have a pretty high chance of, you know, growing back together properly. Depends on the fracture. If it's a complicated fracture, you will still have long-term problems with it. But all the soft tissue damage that he would have to get, like all the torn tendons and ligaments and everything, that never heals fully. So he would have to accumulate a lot of chronic injuries, but he doesn't. So, you know, you have to stretch it. Concussions, yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to make a video or upload a video about that. It's already recorded about that pretty soon. The concussions, you can't really toughen up to or whatever. They get worse and worse. You get more prone to having concussions the more you get. So he would be slowly break down. Oh, another thing about physical stuff. What I found really weird in what's the title again? What is the title? Damn. The one where Batman fights the mutant gang leader. I'm terrible with remembering titles and whatnot. Let me see here. Well, this one, which he has this massive jaw. Which one is that? No, wait, you one? Dark Knight Returns. There it is. Yes, Dark Knight Returns. That's the one. There is, again, a bit of a spoiler. You see the Joker in kind of a catatonic state because Batman hasn't been around for a while. He wasn't active, and at the end, when he sees him back in action, he returns. So the Joker was sitting around in an asylum for years, apparently, doing nothing, just being, you know, having no motivation, being catatonic, doing fuck all, and he comes back and is able to fight. How? He should have muscle atrophy. He should be in terrible shape from just sitting around all the time and doing nothing and not training. How does he have any chance? It's ridiculous. You know, that's the kind of stuff that I have issues with, because this is not realism. This is logic. Like, this is internally consistent logic. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter if it's realistic or not. Within that universe, it's clear that you still have to train in order to maintain your strength and physical fitness, right? And he doesn't. So yeah, whatever. Yeah, he has a butler, as a medic, and plot armor. Yeah, the plot armor is mainly a thing. Yeah, medic's all fine and good, but you know, even the best doctor can't prevent certain types of chronic soft tissue damage, for example. Anyway, back to Justice League. So what do you guys think about it? I've already seen a number of comments saying it's terrible and everything. I think we can agree on that for the most part. Although, you know, if you actually liked it, tell us why you liked it. You know, just some different perspectives here. You think we're going to see Deathstroke in the Batman movie because he appeared at the end of Justice League? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll see Deathstroke. It would be rather odd for them to just tease the audience. Oh, look, here's Deathstroke. Oh, making a very super brief appearance, and then we'll never show him again. That would be weird. The Flash was the best character. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, Cyborg as a character was pretty good too, aside from the terrible CGI and all the freaking glowy light. They really overdid it hard on that. But as far as the character is concerned, and his internal struggles and everything, it was decent. It was pretty good. Like, the actor did a decent job and everything. But yeah, the Flash, yeah, believable, yeah, for sure, because he was still kind of a noob at this whole superhero thing, and I mean, he did go a little bit too fast, huh? From I have no idea what I'm doing to yeah, I can do this thing. Like, was a bit abrupt, but still, it was there. So it was not too bad. He was at times I found him a little too goofy and insecure, but you know, he was clearly intended as a comedic part, and he had some good moments, no doubt about it. Knock off Spider-Man a little bit. Yeah, I did get that vibe. He was, you know, young, inexperienced, goofball, jokes around a lot, and nobody else really engages with it. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, the humor, generally, the attempt at humor in the movie was really bad. I agree with that. There were a couple of good moments, like a couple of you know, funny exchanges, but most of the time it fell flat. Yeah, the animated DC is far superior to anything live action. It's just live action. Even the best live action DC movie is mediocre compared to the best animated. Or even, you know, even moderately okay animated is, you know, can be better. I mean, some of the Batman movies are pretty good. I'll say that. But yeah, Christian Bale. My Batman. Where are they? No, just no. Why? Heath Ledger made up for that, absolutely. But oh, that was such a terrible Batman performance. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine Kevin Conroy's animated Batman walking into an interrogation room with the Joker and doing nothing but beating him up and saying, "Where are they? Where are they?" I mean, I can't even imagine Kevin Conroy saying that in like an awkward voice. Like him suddenly going, "Where are they? Where are they?" Like, Batman doesn't need to resort to stuff like that. He yeah, that was irritating. But yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker is amazing, no doubt about it. I mean, it was definitely a different take on the Joker. You know, Heath Ledger was, you know, more of a crazy anarchist more than a classic Joker. I think Jack Nicholson did classic Joker more, but and both are awesome. I would say Ledger's performance is even more impressive than Nicholson's, but either way, they're both good. Just different takes on it. Yeah. Jared Leto is a different, yeah, different as in complete fucking horse shit. Ugh. No, I didn't even want to mention him. That was just, that was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. I'm just gonna hurt you real bad. Ugh. No, just get lost. Go die in a, in a collapsing building or something. That was just, nope. Nope, 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 nope. Mark Hamill, yes. I mean, yeah, I would agree that Mark Hamill can be seen as the best Joker. And just like Kevin Conroy is the best Batman, because Mark Hamill is the most quintessential Joker. It's like he defines the Joker pretty much. Everybody else, if somebody else does a different performance, it can still be really good, but it's not the same. It's not, you know, it's not the Joker, the classic Joker, if you will. You know, Nicholson is pretty close to that, but it's not quite the same. It's not like the same kind of, he doesn't do the same maniacal laughter and everything. And Hamill's Joker is more frantic and more psycho, essentially. That's what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, you can't beat Hamill, you can't beat Conroy as Batman. It's just, they are set in stone pretty much. Although, you know, there were some other voice actors in animated Batman movies that also did quite a good job, no doubt about it. But, you know, Conroy and Hamill are just top of the line. That's all you can say. If you disagree, you need to be crucified. Or, I don't know, hanged upside down by your feet like a bat. Stuff like that. All right, what else we got? What else is going on? Old Justice League and Batman animated series were perfect. Yep, I agree. Justice League, just like history, everyone is using what they have and are comfortable with. The modern stuff, are people fighting with the same weapon? What? Oh, why in modern stuff are people fighting with the same weapons? I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm not quite sure. Oh, what do you think of Jeremy Irons as good old, what? Sorry, I got distracted for a moment. Sherlock fight scene? What? No, let's not get too sidetracked. But yeah, Jeremy Irons as Alfred. What do you think? I think he did a really good job with him. Like, definitely the usual Alfred snark, 100%. I'm not quite sure I can buy Jeremy Irons, like, just in terms of appearance as Alfred. Like, he doesn't look old enough, or at least I don't know. Again, animated Alfred is where it's at, in my opinion. He's, of course, very stereotypically British butler looking, but that's good. Missed your last live stream, but made it for this one, so yeah. Also, thanks for your recommendation with Moonlighter. That game is so fun. Good. Glad that you enjoyed. Yeah, I want to see Batman as a detective, tech whiz, and the martial artist that he is. Yeah, it's not really in this Justice League. Not really. He was said he was just kind of along for the ride. He didn't do much of importance and unimpressive. Unimpressive. You, Justice League. Hey, it's not Justice League in general. It's this Justice League movie in particular. Justice League in general is awesome. Animated is where it's at. Trying too hard to be edgy? I didn't get that vibe. Maybe with Aquaman, they were trying a bit too hard to make him extra badass and everything, and extra manly and whatnot. But otherwise, didn't really even seem edgy to me. It was just very generic. That's what I would call it. Like the story was super generic. I mean, really? You know, villain comes up to recreate the apocalypse that almost happened in the past, and he's doing it again now because he likes it, because he's evil. Yay. Fantastic. Yeah, Green Arrow would be pretty cool to have in there too, at least if he's done well, which they probably wouldn't have. You know, a proper Green Arrow with all the snark is, yep, that's good stuff. Singing sword versus talking sword, which do you choose? How dare you be off topic? That's okay. Talking, singing would be annoying. It's like Disney going on all the damn time as you fight. No thanks. One thing I like from the 2003 animated Batman series was that Alfred did things besides being the butler. Yeah, I mean, Batman. Batfred. Alfred, man. Alfred is actually really badass, and occasionally it comes through. You sometimes see it in some of the, you know, series, movies, etc., comics in particular. He's actually a pretty good fighter, and, you know, he has experience. So, yeah. He's actually more badass than you quite often see. How do you rate the Cyborg CGI? 0.5 out of 10. That's what I rated. It was so bad. Oh, so fake looking. I still don't... Like, frickin' Terminator 2 had more convincing CGI than this. I mean, come on. In the 90s. Yeah, exactly. The Aquaman is compelled to tell the truth by sitting on the rope. That was, I mean, that was really a forced joke. I mean, it wasn't super terrible, but that was really forced. I mean, come on. Also, speaking of Wonder Woman's rope, there was this one scene where she's asking someone, like asking a terrorist, you know, where, well, what's going on, where something is, whatever. And he's evading the question. He's not answering the question. He just tells her, "You're too late." So is the rope failing, or lasso? Is it failing now? Because if it compels you to tell the truth and you can just evade it by saying another truth, what's the point of it? Nobody would have to, you know, be affected by it, because if they're like, okay, tell me where the bomb is, and they're like, well, nice weather today. That's true. It's like, what's the point? If you can just evade it by saying something else, then the lasso doesn't work. So they screwed up the lasso of truth even. Something that simple, something that minor, they screwed up. How? I can't even. Is a trident better than a spear? why would it? Just because it has, you know, 2 more points, more stabbiness. I mean, you do damage in 3 spots instead of 1, but you also do only a third, you know, because the force is just distributed. So it's not better. Is it worse? Not necessarily. Huh. Kevin makes a good point here. Would the rope be able to make someone tell the truth who believes their own lies? I mean, that wouldn't be a lie. That would be more someone who's misinformed saying something. I don't think, like, since the lasso of truth works magically or divinely or whatever, it shouldn't fall for a trick. You know, the kind of liar who's so good that they can convince themselves that it's the truth. They don't really. I mean, it's a mental trick. They don't truly 100% truly believe it's the actual truth. It's more of a, you know, it's just a trick. So I don't think you could fake it out that way. But they could of course give false information. You know, whoever is being interrogated is not all-knowing. So if they don't know any better, if this is what they think is true, that's what they believe, even though it's false, then yeah, of course they will still say that, because that's what they believe is true. So yeah, if you put the lasso of truth on someone who is a stout believer, and you ask them, does God exist? And they say yes, then yeah, of course. That doesn't mean it's the absolute truth. Oh, someone is crazy enough to actually believe something false. If they're a flat earther and they will say, the earth is flat, and the lasso of truth would still make them say that. Because, you know, just because they're, you know, dangerously delusional and willfully ignorant doesn't mean that they don't think it's true, you know. Superman CGI baby chin? Oh, you mean the mustache thing? Or the actor had one and then they removed it with CGI? I think that's what I heard. I didn't notice that, but it would be kind of neat to have Superman with a beard, wouldn't it? And Batman too. Everyone, in fact. Why not? Everybody looks better with a beard. They just need the right kind of beard. In fact, I think I've... Let's see here. Batman beard. No, not this. Okay, full beard, not necessarily. That doesn't suit him. He needs... Okay, this is ridiculous. That suits him better. Like a well-groomed beard. I still wouldn't say not a full beard. He would have to have more like a goatee or something. But it would definitely have to be meticulously groomed, otherwise it doesn't suit him. Yeah, definitely not just some stubble. That's no. Yeah, that's pretty good. Old bearded Batman. That's badass. Or bat-ass, I guess. Yeah, just the full beard, no. Doesn't work on him. Anyway. It would make him easier to identify, that's true, yeah. I mean, not necessarily. If you go for a fairly standard beard, then not necessarily. Also, he could dye it before going out, or as Bruce Wayne. Either way, like just to spray some different dye on the beard before he goes out. Stuff like that. Awkward how Batman puts on eye makeup every time he goes out at night. Yeah, I agree. That's actually, this is what I prefer about. I mean, okay, the animated version, of course, has the white eyes going on just because it's cool. You know, just about everybody has that. Some versions of the Flash have that too, for example. But the way I generally interpret it as he has like lenses or something like in the cowl that give him a display of some sort. You know, kind of Iron Man style, although probably not as it's intensive. No, not intensive. Extensive. And I mean, they do that in the Arkham games, where if you turn on the detective vision or whatever it's called, then he gets the white eyes because he gets the overlay in the cowl, and that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, why wouldn't he have that? And then he wouldn't have to put makeup on his eyes. Okay, the Great Lemon is back. How you doing? Well, I'm doing okay. Could be better, but just too much work. But otherwise, did you hear about the possible pistol in Toronto, Ontario? What? No, I haven't heard about that. I'm not sure what that's about. Most effective superpower that is also the most goofy. I don't know. Being able to turn anything you want into donuts would be pretty effective. Like somebody picks a fight with you, donuts. And then you eat them. Is it cannibalism if you turn them into donuts first? No, I don't think so. Oh, pistol banning in Toronto. Well, I'm not sure that anything is going to come of that. There were just talks about possibly allowing cities to ban handguns. But it was very tentative, and who knows? Nothing concrete. Opinion about the real estate prices in Victoria? They are absolutely ridiculous, atrocious, insane, outrageous, dumb. Only Vancouver is worse. Anyway, back to Justice League. Don't want to get too sidetracked here. I mean, if we run out of things to talk about, then that's fine too. Who's the better techno billionaire, Iron Man or Batman? Who wins in a fight? I think I've seen that discussion somewhere with a fairly convincing conclusion, but I don't quite remember what it was. I think Tony Stark is worth more. I think he has a greater fortune than Bruce Wayne, I think. And he has the AI as well. That's a bit of an advantage. In fact, yeah. I think I probably have to give it to Iron Man. I mean, if Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne had a brawl, you know, just without anything, no equipment, no gadgets, whatever, Bruce Wayne would whoop his ass. That's obvious. But with everything they have available, Stark definitely has the technological advantage. So I think he would probably win. I mean, it's usually the thing. How much preparation time does Batman get? Because he always finds some kind of weakness. If he has enough time to prepare and knows enough about the enemy, then he figures something out, right? I don't know. Batman would crush Captain America. Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, Cap is kind of overrated in my opinion anyway. He just has... I mean, okay, he has an indestructible shield, and he has, you know, the super serum going on, which, you know, enhances his ability, but... I mean, I don't know where his how powerful or how physically capable exactly he is supposed to be compared to others. But I doubt that he gets up to even Bane level on full Venom. But I don't know, maybe. I don't know as much about Captain America, so I don't really know how far that goes. And I mean, as far as tactics are concerned, and also martial arts, of course Batman is far superior. Yeah, in the movies he has super strength, in the comics he's peak human. Yeah. I've always thought of Captain America as just kind of, you know, just about like a little bit superhuman, but not much. Like not extremely physically superior. Yeah, barehanded could go either way. Argue, oh, I don't know. Actually, I'm not so sure about that. Like, Cap is probably stronger and faster than Batman. That's pretty easy to postulate. But Batman definitely has the advantage in terms of, you know, technique. You know, because all the martial arts that he knows, and he's more of a tactical thinker and all of that. Then again, Cap has a lot of experience too, so hard to say. I hate how Batman is never given a happy part in his life, and his twisted soul aspect is heavily pushed on him. Yeah, the problem is it's part of his character. Like that's what defines him to a large extent. So he probably wouldn't be Batman anymore if he was allowed to be happy. Yeah, it sucks, but it's kind of part of his concept. Bonjour! I really like the videos you make on the videos of the past. Thank you. Batman versus Deadpool fist fight. Yeah, no chance. I mean, he literally cannot, like Batman literally cannot defeat him. He would just keep coming until he's exhausted, and Deadpool is pretty good too, martial arts wise. Probably not up to par with Batman, but you know, he can just keep flinging his regenerating body at him and it'll wear him out eventually. So unless, again, Batman comes up with something. I mean, he came up with a contingency plan for every single member of the Justice League that disables all of them. So, you know, he clearly can figure out how to deal with superpowers. Yeah, he would need a way to immobilize Deadpool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could trap him, something like that. Batman's more ruthless than Captain America. Yeah, I would agree with that. How will you contain Deadpool? With porn. Just put him in a room with porn and then he's not going to care about the fight. Oh. Batman Ninja? I mean, I'd say generally animated DC is better than live action, but this shit, I could not make it through more than, what was it, 15 or 20 minutes? It was so stupidly absurd and ridiculous and just, no. Just, this is one of the big exceptions. Batman Ninja is terrible. I'd rather watch Justice League again. In fact, probably 2 or 3 times rather than trying again to watch this garbage. That was incredibly bad. Like, damn. Like, every sense and everything that usually is interesting about Batman movies is just no, kick it all out the window and do some random ridiculous nonsense. Basically, when Joker's fortress started to unfold and everything, this thing that he somehow built in feudal Japan with nothing, but what the materials that were available there, and then this giant mech fortress. Nope, that's where it lost me. I had to shut it off then. That was getting too ridiculous. That was just dumb. Hulk will tear Deadpool apart. I mean, he tears everything apart, doesn't he? Okay, anything else interesting? Yeah, we could probably leave it at that. I don't have anything else to talk about. As far as Justice League is concerned, I've just rattled off most of my criticisms and pointed out why I think it was terrible. And we can probably move on now. I just had to get that out of my system, so to speak, and I figured it might be entertaining. What do you think? You think you could defeat Deadpool? Sword versus sword? No, no. How? How could I possibly defeat him? I mean, he's better with a sword, and he regenerates immediately. There's nothing I could possibly do. Anyway, okay, we'll wrap it up here. So thanks for showing up and having the movie discussion with me. Let me know if you liked it, and I might do that occasionally. Okay. See you, folks. Have a good one.